ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। मनोजवं मारुततुल्यवेगं जितेन्द्रियं बुद्धिमतां वरिष्ठं वातात्मजं वानरयूथमुख्यं श्रीरामदूतं शिरसा नमामि। कूजन्तं राम रामेति मधुरं मधुराक्षरम् आरुह्य कविताशाखां वन्दे वाल्मीकिकोकिलम्। आपदामपहर्तारं दातारं सर्वसम्पदां लोकाभिरामं श्रीरामं भूयो भूयो नमाम्यहम्। दक्षिणे लक्ष्मणो यस्य वामे च जनकात्मजा पुरतो मारुतिर्यस्य तं वन्दे रघुनन्दनम्। We are in chapter 37 of Sundara Kanda, where the emotions are completely mixed up. Sita Devi, on one hand, has heard the amazing description of Hanumanji, of how Ramachandra is constantly pining for Sita Devi's company back again. He's not been sleeping, he's not been eating, he's just sitting like almost like a madman, as if there is no life in him, where flies, mosquitoes, bugs, worms are crawling on him, even snakes, and he does not even shoo them away from his body. And he's constantly repeating the names of Sita, 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 just to be back with her. Having heard something like this, chapter 36 ends with Valmiki Rishi telling us, Sa Rama Sankirtana Vita Shoka Ramasya Shokena Samana Shoka Sharan Mukhe Sambuddha Shesha Chandra Nisheva Vaideha Suta Babhuva. Rama Sankirtana Shrutva, having heard Hanuman's talk or glorifying Ramachandra's condition, Vita Shoka, all her sadness, her sorrow went away. At the same time, Ramasya Shokena, by hearing about the sorrow Ramachandra is going, Samana Shoka, she had the same sorrow back again. So on the one hand, she was relieved of sorrow and immediately she was back in intense sorrow. And the analogy given by Valmiki Rishi is Sharan Mukhe Sambuddha Shesha Chandra Nisheva. She was the night, she was just like the night at the beginning of Sharad Ritu, autumn season, where the clouds haven't fully cleared the sky, and so the moon is being obscured by the clouds, and the night is not bright yet. Videha Sutta Babhuva, she became like that. So then She gathered herself and she has to respond back to Hanumanji. So Valmiki starts the chapter with Sa Sita Tad Vachanam Shrutva Purna Chandra Nibhanana Hanumantam Uvacha Idam Dharma Artha Samhitam Vachaha. So all the way going from the end of 36 to beginning of 37, it's not that these things happened right one after the other quickly. We understand from the writing that there is a lot of passage of time between these episodes, because that's the nature of sorrow, that Sita is so broken-hearted that there are long periods of silence. And in those long periods of silence, there is almost the feeling that her world has been completely shattered and devastated. And the way we understand this is the previous chapter ends with Sambuddha Sesha Chandra Nisheva, where the clouds after monsoon haven't fully cleared into becoming white, and so they obscure the moon. And in this verse, he says, Purna Chandra Nibhanana, like her face was the one who has a face like the full moon. So between a moon that is obscured by clouds and a face that is looking like the full moon, we know that some time has passed. So she gathered herself after hearing Hanuman's words and spoke back or replied or responded to Hanuman with words that were full of dharma and artha. Now, this dharma and artha is not the mundane dharma and mundane economic development as we are accustomed to hearing. Dharma artha in this case means these words were filled with dharma of the highest order. So we understand that as bhakti. And artha, in this case, is not economic development. It means full of meaning or full of uh, greatly realized, greatly realized state of consciousness that she is in. Dharma, artha, sahitam. The combined, dharma and artha are combined. Very meaningful and very, very highly refined, devotional, such that you won't find any deviation from what's there in the Vedic understanding of how a person who's connected to the Supreme Lord should behave and speak. And the first words in response she says is Amritam Visha Samsritam Tvaya Vanara Bhashitam Yachana Anya Mana Ramo Yacha Shoka Parayana. Hanuman, the words you have spoken are like nectar mixed with poison. Amritam Visha Samsritam Tvaya Vanara Bhashitam. The words you have given me is a pot of nectar and mixed with poison. So what effect will it have? I don't know. So my mind is completely devastated with sorrow. Shoka parayanaha. Na anya manaha. And there is no other thought in me except this deep sorrow hearing about Ramachandra's condition. But what to do? Life is such. There is something called fate or destiny. We use the word providence or the order of the Supreme Lord. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, I, sitting in the heart of every living being, guide the destiny of everyone. Yantra Rudhani Mayaya. And they are just moving as if they are riding a vehicle. So Sita Devi says, there is something called death. And death is nothing but the order of the Supreme Lord. It works under the influence of time energy. And everyone says, it's my bad time or good times are going on. Time is such a forceful energy. And she says, Aishwarye va suvistirne, vyasane va sadarune, vyasane va sudarune, rajva eva purusham badhva, kritanta parikarshati. Parikarshati means tormented. Every living being is tormented by this time energy. And the way time energy torments everyone is by the absolute surety of death, kritanta, at the time where all activity ends. And how does death act? She says, Raju iva purushaha badhva. It is like a person is bound by a rope, and time energy pulls that rope. And so a living being becomes helpless and is just drawn by death. And it's not that death comes to only the poor people. So she says, Vyasaneva sudarune. One may be steeped in the greatest of distresses. Or Aishwaryeva suvistirne, must be enjoying in the most expansive delights of royalty and Aishwarya and wealth and great enjoyment. It doesn't matter. When the time comes, everybody is pulled as if by a rope. Yamaraj, who's the representation of that energy, holds in his hand the pasha. Pasha is a rope. And by that rope, he yanks out the subtle body from the gross body. And therefore, the gross body is discarded, either by burying it or cremating it or leaving it for other carnivores to eat and tear it apart. Such is the power of destiny, Hanuman. And who is under the clutch of destiny? Everybody. Vidhi nonam asamharyaha praninam plavagottama saumutrim mam cha ramam cha vyasanai pashya mamita. Look at Lakshmana's condition. Look at my condition. Look at Sri Ramachandra's condition. We are all under the power and influence of Vidhi. Vidhi is actually Lord Brahma. That's another name of Lord Brahma, because Lord Brahma writes everyone's fate. And so the providence, the Supreme Lord controls every living being. And we are helpless. There is a verse, a famous verse spoken by Prahlad Maharaj in the 7th canto, chapter 5. He says, Nate viduhu swartha gatim he Vishnu. Durashaya ye bahirartha manina. Andha yatandhe upaniyamanaha tepisha tantraha urudam nibaddha. He's telling Hiranyakashipu, or he's addressing I think he's telling Hiranyakashipu. He says, those people, ye bahirartha manina, those who are looking for happiness and pleasure in the external world, they don't know that Vishnu is their ultimate goal. Nate viduhu. They don't know. Swartha gati hi Vishnu. That their ultimate self-interest is in Vishnu. And because they don't know that, they're looking at the external world and are putting their faith in useless people. And those people are blind. The persons reposing their faith are blind because their eyes are not opened by the scripture and guru. And so they repose their faith in equally blind people. Andha yatha andhai upaniyah. And so the blind people draw their followers just as they are bound by a rope. Uru damni. Uru is very strong. Damni, by a rope. Upaniyah. They're just pulled and tugged. If you're holding a rope and someone pulls, you have the strength to stand on the ground and pull back, like in a tug of war. Two parties pull the rope, and because they are grounded, their feet are planted strongly, they have enough strength to pull with their arms. But tie the rope around someone's chest or waist and pull, and you'll find that they have absolutely no resistance because the center of gravity is here. And when you pull, they have no ability to sustain it. So even a little bit, the person cannot resist. What to speak of being tugged very, very strongly by the modes of nature, by the forces of material energy. So Sita Devi is telling Hanuman, Lakshmana, a prince, he had no reason to come into the forest, but look how destiny has brought him here. Look at my condition. Destiny, suddenly, we were all very happy in the forest. Ravana took me away. That Ramachandra, who's supposed to be the emperor of the world, is living in a forest for 14 years, lying on the ground, eating just roots and berries and tubers from the ground. And today, he's separated from me. And when will this grief of mine end, Hanuman? Will Sri Ramachandra, my husband, see me after killing Ravana? Will this city of Lanka become demolished? And it's not like we have all the time. Ravana has given me 1 year, and 10 months are already over. And if Ramachandra does not hurry, then even if he comes here, what's the point? I would be dead. Ravana has made a very, very strong deadline. Only 2 months are remaining, Hanuman. This Ravana has this brother, Vibhishana. And Vibhishana, it seems, advised Ravana, return Sita back. It's not good for you. But Ravana won't heed to such advice. Ravana did not like it. He said, nope, I will not return Sita Devi. So the only fate for Ravana is he has to die in battle with Ramachandra. Because he himself, look at Ravana's condition, how time works upon him, that he has invited his own death. You may wonder how I know all this. Vibhishana's oldest daughter, her name is Nala. She was sent by Vibhishana's wife to inform me about this. Jeshta Kanya Nala Nama Vibhishana Suta Kape Taya Mama Etad Akhyatam Matra Prahitaya Swayam. Matra Prahitaya, sent by the mother, that is Vibhishana's wife. So Nala came and told me, oh Hanuman, you're the best of the monkeys. I have hope that I'm living on this very fine or thin thread of hope that Ramachandra will gain me back again, because my heart is pure in Ramachandra. And in Ramachandra, all the good qualities exist. This for us is a verse that we hold on to. that if our heart is pure or becoming pure, then even if the hope is very thin, it is still assured that that thin rope or thin thread, Ramachandra can pull us out of this condition that we are in material existence. And what are the she says, my heart is pure, but she doesn't speak about her qualities. She speaks about Ramachandra's qualities. And this is the entire premise of a sadhaka, that one is constantly meditating on the wonderful qualities of the Supreme Lord, and by those qualities, our heart is filled with confidence. Utsaha, Paurusham, Sattvam, Andhra Samshyam, Kritagyata, Vikramaha, Prabhavaha, Cha Santi Vanara Raghave. O Vanara, in Sri Ramachandra, Raghave, in the scion of the Raghu dynasty. And she calls him Raghave because every person in that lineage has these qualities. And the crowning person in the entire Raghu dynasty is Ramachandra. Therefore, he's called Raghu Tilaka, the highest and the best among all of the descendants of Raghu. What are his qualities? Utsaha. He's always spirited, enthusiastic. You never find Ramachandra unenthusiastic in the business of reclaiming his devotees. In fact, his devotees become unenthusiastic in the business of getting out of this world, but never Ramachandra. Even the slightest call, Ramachandra doesn't say, I'm eating, I'm lying down, I'm resting. In fact, there are stories that when Gajendra had called, when Draupadi had called, they left everything they were doing. The Lord Shri Krishna apparently ran to rescue Gajendra and did not even take Garuda with him because Garuda was too slow. He ran without an upper cloth because the slightest call of Gajendra was completely irresistible for the Lord. So Utsaha, oh, one may have great enthusiasm, but does he have the prowess? Yeah, Paurusham. He is fully powerful, capable. Sattvam. Sattvam here uh, talks about courage. Courage in the sense that he is not daunted by any obstacles. Andhra Samsham is that there is absolutely no, uh, um, what's the, Nrisamsha means cruelty. Andhra means that absolutely no cruelty. The opposite of being cruel is that he's very magnanimous, is very kind, is very loving, very benevolent. Kritagyata. And he's extremely grateful. Any service rendered to him, even once, even slightly, even unintentionally, he takes that into account. Vikramaha is powerful. Prabhavaha. And he is full of energy. He can influence Prabhava. He can influence anybody. He can influence any situation. That is my Sri Ramachandra. And Hanuman, I don't know if you, I'm sure you know that without the help of Lakshmana, Ramachandra alone completely finished off in Janasthan 14,000 demons. Like that. And so Ramachandra's excellence somehow, I want to know if it has moved his heart for me. I know Ramachandra knows how I will be without him, just as Shachi Devi knows Indra will always use all of his energy and power to reclaim her. Ramachandra is as powerful as the sun. And with his arrows, he can dry up the entire ocean. of adversaries. And she was crying as she was thinking of Sri Ramachandra. Sampurna Vadanam Uvacha Hanuman Kapihi. Ashu Sampurna. Her face was filled with tears streaming down her eyes. So Hanuman spoke. He says, Sita Devi, as soon as Ramachandra hears my report that I have seen you, met you, talked to you, Ramachandra will immediately gather all the monkeys and bears and march towards Lanka. Why wait until that? I will relieve you of this grief right now, Sita Devi. Why wait for Ramachandra to come? I can take you to Ramachandra right now. Just get on my back and I will take you there. With you on my back, I can cross the ocean. In fact, I have the capacity to not just take you, but uproot this entire Lanka along with Ravana and take to Ramachandra. In fact, I will take you to Ramachandra, who's sitting on Mount Prasavana right now, waiting. And you will see him face to face along with Lakshmana. Drakshasi adya eva vaidehi. Drakshasi, you will see him. Adya eva, today itself. Raghavam saha Lakshmanam. Vyavasaya samayuktam Vishnum daityavadhe yata. And you will see him preparing to finish all the Rakshasas. I can take you right now. And this Ramachandra is staying in a hermitage and always eager to see you. And I will carry you just as Indra is carried by Airavata, which means I'm just your servant. Oh, Sita Devi, Prishtham Aroha Me Devi, just get on my back. Don't have any hesitation. You can be with Ramachandra just as Rohini unites with Chandra. And I will take you high up in the sky as if you can talk to the sun and the moon. And don't be worried or scared, because as I'm flying back to where Ramachandra is, nobody in this Lanka has the guts or the dare to follow me or fight me. Just the way I have reached here, I will move back in the sky and take you with me. Of this, there is no doubt. So when Sita Devi heard these astonishing words of Hanuman, her entire body became inspired by great joy, thinking of the prospect of, oh, I could meet Ramachandra right now. And then she laughed a little bit and was sarcastic with Hanumanji. Because Hanuman, what was his size? Like a tiny cat. You've seen a cat. Imagine if a cat tells you all that this you can do. So she says, Hanuman, Duram adhavanam katham mam vodhum ichchasi. Tat eva khalu te manye kapitvam hariyutapa. Kapitvam, monkey-like. You're behaving like an ordinary monkey. This is your monkey type nature. Just look at yourself. You're so small. Although she calls him Hari Yuthapa, the best of the monkeys, yet she's looking at his small size and saying, you're just beating your chest, just immature. Can you really do this? Katham va alpa sharirah tvam. Look at your body, it is so small. Mam itho netum ichhasi, and you are desiring to carry me. How is it possible? When Hanuman heard these words of Sita, first he considered, is she insulting me? Sitaya vachanam shrutva Hanuman marutatmajah chintayamasa Lakshmivan. Chintayamasa. Lakshmivan. He has great opulence in him. Chintayamasa navam paribhavam kratum. Uh, Paribhavam is like a new insult. Is she insulting me? So then he's thinking to himself, Na me janati sattvam va prabhavam va asitekshana. Tasmat pashyatu vaidehi yat rupam mama kamatah. I don't think she knows my sattvam, my power, and prabhavam, my influence, because she is a very innocent woman. Asita ikshana. Tasmat pashyatu vaidehi. Okay, this is why I should let her see yat rupam mama kamata. I can take any form and I want her to see my gigantic, powerful form. Iti samchintya Hanuman tada plagava sattamaha darshayamasa vaideha swarupam arimartanaha. He said, Sita Devi, I want you to see what my real form is. And Sa tasmat padapa dhiman apluta plavanga rishabha tato vardhitum arebhe Sita pratyaya karanat. This very intelligent Hanumanji says leapt down from the tree, aplutya, got down from the branch, and to create confidence in Sita Devi began to increase his form. Suddenly, Hanuman flashed like the Meru and Mandara mountains and was shining brightly like a blazing fire, and he stood in front of Sita, and his body was increasing and increasing and increasing, and he looked like a massive mountain. Reddish face, teeth that were strong, nails that were as strong as lightning thunderbolts. So the acharyas in the Sri Vaishnava call this the Hanuman Vishwarupa, massive size. And he spoke to Sita, this Lanka, I have the ability in me to carry this Lanka, the hills, the forests, the markets, the walls, the forts, everything I can take, including Ravana, I can carry him. So Sita, drop your suspicion. Let your mind become steady. Come along with me to Ramachandra and Lakshmana right now and be relieved of all of this grief. Sita Devi is looking at Hanumanji with big, broad eyes, almost with mouth agape and completely stunned. Sita with tam drashtva achala samkasham ovacha janakatmaja padmapatra vishalakshi marutasya aurasam sutam. Aurasam sutam, who is the son. She spoke to Hanuman. She said, oh, great Hanuman, I actually knew your courage and your strength and the movement, just like fire, and you're like wind god. In fact, you're not ordinary. You are someone that is very, very evolved. You're the best. In fact, the fact that you came here tells me of all your capacity that you have. I know, Janami Gamane Shaktim. I know your power of movement. Nayane Chapite Manaha. Both uh, both visibly and in my mind. अवश्यम सांप्रधार्य आशु कार्य सिद्धि आत्मनः अयुक्तं तु कपिश्रेष्ठा मया गन्तुं त्वया सह वायुवेग सवेगस्य वेगो मां मोहयेत्तव. Then she says, I know your capacity, but what we have to figure out is, what you are saying that we should do right now, if we do that, will it cause any impediment in Ramachandra's activities? And ayuktum, sorry, yuktam means suitable, ayuktam, not suitable. It is not suitable that I go with you, oh great monkey, because your great speed, that is so fast, like the speed of wind, actually may bewilder my mind. When you go very fast, the G force is so strong, it may bewilder my mind. So these are all her reasons for not going with Hanuman. First, she dismissed him, although it was not intentional insult. Her reason for not going, she said, oh, you're too small. Come on, how can you take me? But when he showed his prowess, she said, okay, the small size of Hanuman is not going to be the reason. Let me tell him the actual reason. One, it should not disrupt Ramachandra's sankalpa or intention. Second, when you go with such speed, my mind might get bewildered. Third, if you go high up in the sky, because he said you can speak to the sun and the moon, I, out of fear of heights, might fall from your back. Especially you're going so high and so fast, I might fall off your back. And if I fall into the ocean filled with all these sharks, crocodiles, and gigantic fish, I may become the best food for all of those aquatics there. So Hanumanji, oh, you may annihilate as many enemies that you can. I don't think it's possible for me to go with you. Especially when you are flying back and let's say someone attacks, not only do you have to take care of yourself, now suddenly you have to take care of me, an extra person. That will be an unnecessary risk for you. Especially when these demons will see that you're taking me away, they will follow you. They will get their weapons and clubs and swords and spears, and then you have to take care of me and fight them. And while you're doing this, what will happen if I slip and fall? I may get so scared of the whole battle, and then what's the point? And if I die? So I don't want the demons to feel that they can battle with you and conquer you. So I don't think I should go with you. In fact, while they're trying to attack you, they may find that I should not go back to Ramachandra, so they may kill me. So in a battlefield, victory is not always determined. And then if I die, all the effort of you coming here, you going back and informing Ramachandra will all become wasted. It's a futile attempt. It's not all this work that we have done or you've done will become wasted. But there is another reason, Hanuman. You may say that you can kill all these demons. That's true, maybe. However, if you do so, Ramachandra's glory will become diminished. And so I don't think I should go with you. And if in this case, if I die, Ramachandra, who's holding on to his life by this thin thread of hope that he will see me, and so is Lakshmana, their lives are dependent on me. And if they lose hope, they will abandon their lives. And Hanuman, knowingly consciously, I cannot touch another man as I'm Ramachandra's wife. Remember, dharma artha sahitam vachaha. Now you may think, how did you come here? Ravana got you. And she says, Yat aham gatra samsparsham ravanasya gata balat anisha kim karishyami vinatha vivashasati. Although I am very chaste to Ramachandra, when Ravana was carrying me away, I had lost all control of myself and I had fainted. So I did not touch him or have contact with him knowingly or voluntarily. What will be proper is that if Ramachandra comes here and finishes Ravana and all of his followers and then takes me back to Ayodhya, that would be proper for him. And she says, I have no doubt, I've not only heard, but seen with my own eyes the strength of Ramachandra. In fact, none of the demigods, the celestial beings, anyone in the 14 realms, including Ravana, actually can stand him in combat. Oh, monkey, best of the monkeys. When Ramachandra is in a battlefield, he shines like the afternoon sun, noontime sun, powerful, scorching. And he can finish anyone and everyone who dares to combat him. And imagine when Lakshmana is also standing with him. So, Hanuman, please bring Ramachandra here. I am completely emaciated by grief. Please make my heart happy. Same Harisreshta Salakshmanam Patim. Sayuthapam Kshipram Iha Upapadaya. Very quickly, please bring my husband along with Lakshmana. Chiraya Ramam Pratishoka Karshitam. For a very long time, my heart has been in complete distress, thinking about Sri Ramachandra. Purushva Mam Vanara Mukhya Harshitam. Please make my heart happy by bringing Ramachandra here. So this chapter speaks about an important principle for us. The principle is that in every aspect of life, we have to consider, that's what Sita Devi is teaching us, whether we want the easy way out or the right way out. The easy way out, in terms of what we say convenient, sounds easy, maybe convenient, but it may mean that we may have to cross the line of dharma. So when a person thinks about ease or convenience all the time, or we call it practical, in the name of being practical, we try to stay within the boundaries of dharma. And the actual approach to life is we being taught, although the order is tall for sure, is the right way out, not the easy way out always. On a day-to-day things are some convenient. Or should I use a machine or should I hand grind everything? Convenience. We use time for the right way. But wherever we find ourselves at crossroads, at the boundaries of dharma, crossing that line is easy, but may not be right. So we stay within the boundaries, although it may be difficult, it may not be convenient, and definitely not easy, but that's the right way. It's very easy for Sita Devi to sit on Hanuman's back and go back. Now, later in the next chapter, Hanuman's going to speak to her. He tells her, I'm just a devotee and I'm like a son to you, and you're my mother. So there is no impropriety in Sita Devi sitting on Hanuman's back. But Sita Devi doesn't want that anyone can ever say, you know, something was not right there. Who knows? That's one. So she is always above suspicion or doubt. And she gave all these reasons. She used fear as a reason, distraction, or hurting Hanuman. Look at her compassion. She doesn't want Hanuman to become conquered or hurt by the Rakshasas. But there is a reason that she has not mentioned out of her humility. The main reason is she is not interested in becoming reclaimed by Ramachandra alone. There are hundreds and thousands of other women who've been captured by Ravana, and she wants them also to benefit. If if Sita Devi goes away with Hanumanji, what about all the other captives? Is it all about her own emancipation and salvation? What about others? That's the spirit. In the seventh canto, when Prahlad Maharaj is offering prayers to Nrsimhadev, chapter 9, verses 43 and 44, Prabhupada says, this is the spirit of and the purpose of the Hare Krishna movement. That one is not in this just for themselves. One is not only concerned about their salvation, one is also concerned about helping others get out of this material entanglement. So Prahlad Maharaj says, Prayena Deva Munaya, O Deva, Narasimha Deva, Prayena, almost always, Munayaha, the Munis, there are certain Munis who practice silence and they're only interested in their own salvation. Prayena Deva Munaya Maunam Charanti. Vijane, and they recede and go away to places where there is nobody and just solitude. Vijane. Na parartha nishtha. They're not fixed in the benefit of others. Naitan vihaya mumumuksha ekaha. Na etan vihaya. For me, I don't want to leave all of them here. Vimumuksha ekaha. And think only about my own mukti. Why? Nanya anyam sharanam brahmato anupashya. Because they don't know that your shelter is the only boat by which everybody can cross over. I want to be here to benefit them as well. And that is Sita Devi's spirit. Now, to whatever degree our heart can extend compassion to others, great. That's how it should be. That's what we learn. That it's not always about me. It is about maintaining a certain purpose. And if the purpose is strong and clear, then it is not always the easy way out, it's the right way out. On a day-to-day basis, we are constantly challenged by things which we can do or say easily, but that will violate dharma. Speaking a lie to avoid a conflict, or making excuses to avoid a conflict or an uncomfortable situation, to circumvent the law because no one's watching, or it's easier to do it that way. Sita Devi doesn't sanction it. She doesn't live it. In fact, she does exactly the opposite. That is who Ramachandra is. And therefore, that is who Sita Devi is. When they were getting married, Janaka Maharaja told Ramachandra, Yam Sita Mama Sutta. This Sita Devi is my daughter. And I am Janaka. So the world knows me as the person who's very renounced. And therefore, if she is my daughter, you can imagine what her character must be like. Yam Sita Mama Sutta Saha Dharma Chari Tava. And she will always follow Dharma along with you. Saha Dharma Chari. You will never find her as adharmachari because you are not like that. She is not like that. Praticha chainam bhadram te panim grinisha. Please hold her hand and accept her as your beloved wife. Pativrata. She is always, her vow is to be chaste to her husband. Pativrata. Chayeva anugata sada. She will move always like your shadow because the person and the shadow are inseparable. So not only in movement, but also in thought, in conduct, in character. Chayeva anugata sada. Having said this, Dasarath Maharaj sprinkled the water that was made potent by mantra on the knot of the two hands that they had. Ramachandra was holding Sita Devi's hand, and Janaka Maharaj sprinkled water saying these words, Mantra Putam Jalam Tada Prakshipat Raja. So that is Sita Devi. And since we are all conditioned beings trying to make our way out of this world, she's teaching us. It's not the easy way out, it's the right way out. So I had titled it differently, which will change, but let's see if there are any questions, comments, reflections, something stood out for you or got emphasized further. I'd love to hear.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Please accept my humble obeisances.
Hare Krishna.
So, Prabhu, this point that Sita Devi, the unspoken point that ultimately she wanted Lord Ram to come to rescue these other women, is that there in the commentaries then?
It's full in the commentary, and it's the dhvani which we sort of gather from other statements. What we will hear what we heard earlier is when she wanted to come to the forest and Ramachandra had said no. She had said, Agratah te gamishyami mridnanti pushakantakai. I will go ahead of you and trample all the rough grass and thorns. So that is her mercy towards everyone who's captured there. That's one. Second, when Hanumanji, of all the incidents that will happen here, he will meet Ravana, burn Lanka down, comes back to Sita Devi and tells her, I'm going back, but I have one more desire. I want to smash all these Rakshasis. And she says, no, because who in this world doesn't make any mistake? Everybody does. Everybody makes a mistake. And if everybody who made a mistake has to be punished like that, then the entire world has to be punished. So no, go back. And they're only following the order of their master. Are we all not? So we stitch all of this statements into the unspoken because Sita Devi in this context as character is not speaking as the consort of the Lord who has descended for helping everyone. They're playing human roles, so it's not spoken directly that way, but these are all the dhvanis. Now you notice she referred to Vibhishana. Later it is this Vibhishana who goes and takes shelter of Ramachandra. Because Hanuman, who's sitting there with Ramachandra, says to Ramachandra, yes, this is one, you have already decided that you're going to give him shelter because anyone who comes to you, you never say no. But I've seen him there. And he has received Sita Devi's mercy. So anyone who's received Sita Devi's mercy will get Ramachandra's shelter. First, the Vanaras got, other people got, Sampati saw. Now, she's referring to Vibhishana. She's not met him per se. She says Vibhishana's wife sent their daughter. So her mercy has gone to Vibhishana as well. So we stitch all of this together. And the way it is done is the acharyas spell it out for us. All right, Varshana?
Yes, Prabhu, thank you.
Anyone else? Okay, very good. Thank you for being here. I'm always
Hare
inspired.
Krishna, Prabhu, one thing.
Oh, yes, sure.
Which Ramayana are you following? I would
I'm
like
following
to open it from next time.
Valmiki Ramayana, Mataji.
Which one? I would like to open it while you are reading.
Oh, sure. You have...
Is there online edition for this?
Yes, there is. It's called valmikiramayan.net, but there are a lot of spelling mistakes.
Can you forward me the link?
Sure.
Please? Yes.
Yeah. There are a
Thank
lot
you
of
so much.
spelling mistakes, so be careful as you read them. Like a lot of spelling mistakes.
No, I will read it with you when you are
Okay.
reading.
I usually send verses on the group. Today there was nothing particular, but I'll send you the link.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you all very, very much.
Hare Krishna.
May we be inspired by Sita Devi's determination to take up the challenge of, on a daily basis, in our execution of sadhana bhakti, that we abide by all the dharmic principles, because Ramachandra is personification of dharma, so is Sita Devi, and our ability to attract him is when we also stay within the boundaries of dharma, and may that attract their grace upon us. Shri Shri Sitaram Lakshman Hanuman Ji ki Jai. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. I wish you all a fantastic time with the installation, Prana Pratishtha of Sri Ramachandra in Ayodhya. I'm sure each one's looking forward to it. I've been bombarding our WhatsApp group with different snippets. I'll continue doing that. If you don't like it, just don't read it. But some people like it, so I'm going to continue whatever I receive. If you find something that's fascinating, please share. Okay, let's all,
Prabhu,
the whole country in the world is absorbed in Ram consciousness, and that's the greatest blessing for this planet right now.
Prabhu,
So yes,
will there be any live link to see the ceremony?
I'm sure there is. I'm going to find out between now and the next couple of days. If I find it, I'll share it. Anyone finds it, you please share on the WhatsApp group.
Sure.
Okay. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Jai Shri Sitaram Lakshman Hanumanji.